Chapter 1. The Past. The forest churned like a cauldron of chaos, the air thick with energy that crackled and snapped like a living thing. Trees bent unnaturally, their roots clawing at the earth as if trying to escape. The sky above was dark and turbulent, lightning streaking through the heavy clouds. Every sound in the forest, birds, animals, even the wind, had been swallowed by the oppressive power radiating from its center. Off in the distance, a lone woman stood on a rocky outcrop, her silhouette illuminated by the faint glow of distant flames. Her face was a mask of sorrow as she pressed her lips into a thin line, closing her eyes. "Why must you hurt us?" she whispered, her voice soft but tinged with despair. The words disappeared into the howling void, unheard by anyone but herself. "Okay, let me backtrack a bit. I think I might have dropped you into the end of the story. My name's Aubrey, and the story I'm about to tell you isn't mine exactly. They're stories my parents told me growing up, thousands of years ago, maybe more, who knows. There was a civilization that believed in Earth's spirits or guardians. These beings weren't gods, but they were powerful, tied intrinsically to the elements and balance of the world. Some were benevolent, some malevolent, and some walked a fine line in between. The story goes that if one of these spirits chose you as a vessel, your destiny would be bound to it. You'd either protect the Earth or destroy it. And when your duty was fulfilled, you'd become the next spirit, continuing the cycle with a new vessel. Honestly, I always thought it was kind of ridiculous. But my parents, they treated it like sacred truth. They told me that when they were young, my dad and his friends somehow disrupted the natural balance, releasing these spirits back into the world. And that's where our story really begins. Kevin stood in his garage, eyes locked on the punching bag swaying gently in front of him. Sweat dripped down his brow, rolling along his jaw before falling to the concrete floor. He inhaled deeply, his body tense as he visualized his next set of moves. When the sequence solidified in his mind, he launched forward with lightning speed. His left jab connected first, followed by a sharp right hook. Ducking low, he drove his elbow into the center of the bag with a grunt. The chain above rattled with each strike, filling the otherwise quiet garage with a rhythmic metallic clink. Satisfied, Kevin stepped back and wiped his face with a towel. One day, he muttered, a smirk tugging at the corner of his mouth, "I'll be the greatest martial artist this world has ever seen." He tossed the towel aside and headed to the bathroom. Leaning over the sink, he splashed cold water on his face before looking up at his reflection in the mirror. His ash-blonde dreadlocks clung to his damp forehead, framing his sharp features. His brown eyes drifted to his left arm, where patches of vitiligo shimmered faintly under the fluorescent light. The contrast reminded him of his mother. Her skin bore the same patterns, though he had always thought hers looked more elegant. He traced the marks absently, a faint memory tugging at the edges of his mind. With a sigh, he shook himself from the thought and dried his face. As he walked through the house, the muffled roar of death metal grew louder. Passing by Wayne's room, Kevin peeked in to find his brother screaming into a microphone, his voice competing with the music blasting from his stereo. Wayne's black, shaggy hair hung over his forehead, swaying as he thrashed his head to the beat. Kevin rolled his eyes and continued to the kitchen. Pulling a bottle of water from the fridge, he noticed how empty it was. He called out, "Hey, want to come with me to the store?" No response. Kevin frowned, then yelled louder, "Hey! You want to come to the store?" Still nothing. With an exasperated groan, he marched back to Wayne's room, grabbed a half-empty water bottle from the floor, and hurled it at his brother's head. Wayne spun around, rubbing the spot where the bottle had hit, and immediately turned the music down. "Yes, sibling?" Wayne asked sarcastically, his tone dripping with mock formality. He wore a black beater that emphasized his skinny frame. His black pants had a chain connected to his back pocket that only added to his angst. His short black hair was straightened, which shagged a bit towards his forehead. Kevin raised an eyebrow. "I wanted to know if you wanted to go to the store, asshole." Wayne's stomach growled loudly, and he shrugged. "Lunch sounds convenient." Kevin nodded. "Yeah, we've got no food in the fridge, so you coming?" Wayne glanced around his cluttered room before standing up. "Why not? I could use some fresh air." The brothers walked side by side down the cracked sidewalks of Nixton, North Carolina. The city was a shell of what it had once been, crime surging in every corner. Robberies, shootings, and assaults had become daily occurrences, and the police seemed powerless or unwilling to stop it. Kevin and Wayne had both grown up in this environment, hardened by it, but not entirely indifferent. Deep down, they both wanted change. They just didn't know how to start. As they approached the grocery store, a commotion caught their attention. Near the entrance, two older boys, likely around 13, were taunting a little girl who couldn't have been older than 7. She had curly brown hair tied back with a green rubber band and wore pink overalls. Clutched tightly in her hands was a battered teddy bear, missing one button eye and with a torn ear. Her almond-colored skin flushed red as tears streamed down her cheeks. Kevin sighed. "Want to scare some kids?" he muttered to Wayne. Wayne smirked. "Yeah, we might as well." They walked over, Kevin leading with a disarming smile as he crouched to the girl's level. "Hey there," he said softly. "What's going on?" The girl sniffled, her voice trembling. They called me a baby because I have Mr. Tucker." She had a slight French accent that hung in the air as she hugged the bear closer to her chest. Kevin's smile grew warmer. "Mr. Tucker, huh? That's a great name. You know, I had a teddy bear when I was your age. I called him Fireball. I used to pretend he was a Pokemon." Her tears slowed and a small giggle escaped her. Kevin straightened, his expression hardening as he turned to the boys. "Why do you think it's okay to pick on someone smaller than you?" he asked, his tone sharp. The taller of the two boys sneered. "Because it's funny." Kevin chuckled humorlessly. "Funny? Nah, what's funny is you thinking that's a good excuse." Wayne stepped forward, his dark gaze boring into the boys. His unsettling presence was enough. Without a word, the boys bolted, disappearing into the street. Kevin laughed, clapping Wayne on the back. "Well, that was effective." Wayne shrugged, then turned back to the girl. "What's your name?" "Aubrey," she said, smiling shyly. "That's a beautiful name," Kevin said. "But why are you out here by yourself?" "It's dangerous." She pointed across the street to a small house. "I live there. Mama says it's okay to play outside when Daddy drinks apple juice from the glass bottle." Kevin's brow furrowed. "Apple juice?" Aubrey pointed to a broken vodka bottle on the ground. "That apple juice. Mama says it makes him hyper." Wayne leaned toward Kevin, lowering his voice. "I think her mom's being abused." Kevin's face darkened, but he forced a smile for Aubrey. "Stay safe, okay? It was nice meeting you." As they turned and walked into the store, Wayne shot Kevin a pointed look. "We can't just ignore that." Kevin grabbed a cart, his expression unreadable. "We need eggs, don't we?" Wayne frowned. "Damn it, Kevin. Stop pretending like this isn't serious." Kevin grabbed a shopping cart and started down the first aisle, seemingly unfazed by Wayne's growing frustration. He scanned the shelves, tossing a carton of eggs into the cart with deliberate nonchalance. Wayne wasn't having it. Stop ignoring me, Wayne said, stepping in front of the cart to block Kevin's path. You saw that girl. Her mom's being abused, and you're acting like we didn't just walk away from a disaster waiting to happen. Kevin kept his gaze forward, his grip tightening on the cart's handle. Wayne, I'm not ignoring it. I'm just not stupid enough to get involved in something we can't fix. Wayne's eyebrows shot up. Can't fix? Are you kidding me right now? You sound just like Mom when she used to pretend nothing was wrong with Dad. Is that the kind of person you want to be? Kevin's jaw clenched, his expression darkening. Don't compare me to her. Why not? It's what you're acting like, Wayne snapped, his voice rising. We couldn't save Mom, Kevin, but that doesn't mean we just let someone else suffer, because it's not our problem. Kevin slammed the cart aside, the eggs jostling precariously but staying intact. He stepped closer to Wayne, his voice low and dangerous. You want to talk about saving Mom? Where were you that day, huh? When Dad snapped and lost his mind, where the hell were you? Wayne flinched as if struck. He began, but Kevin cut him off. You were hiding. In your room. While I tried to stand up to him, Kevin spat, his eyes blazing. I was 12, Wayne. 12. And I had to fight him alone because you were too scared to do anything but cry. All you had to do was call the cops. Wayne's hands balled into fists. You think I wanted to leave you alone? You think I didn't want to fight back? He was a monster, Kevin. What the hell was I supposed to do? Something. Anything, Kevin shouted, his voice echoing down the aisle. I was a kid too, but I tried. I tried to stop him, even if it meant getting hurt. And you. He jabbed a finger at Wayne's chest. You just watched. Wayne's shoulders slumped slightly, his anger momentarily replaced by guilt. But he recovered quickly, his voice firm. You think you were the only one affected by what happened? I couldn't stop him either, Kevin. None of us could. But sitting here now, pretending it's not our business to help someone else, that's worse than anything I ever did. Kevin's breathing slowed, his eyes clouded with the weight of memory. He leaned against the cart, the fight draining from his posture. Wayne, do you know how hard it is to even think about getting involved? To feel that helplessness all over again? I can't do it. Wayne softened, his voice quieter but no less resolute. I get it. I really do. But that little girl, she's going to grow up in the same hellhole we did unless someone steps in. Kevin stared at his brother, searching his face for any hint of doubt. But there was none, just raw determination and the shadow of shared pain. Before Kevin could respond, the sharp crack of gunfire tore through the store's ambient noise. Both brothers froze, their argument forgotten. The sound brought them back to another time, another place. Kevin and Wayne were 12 years old, playing outside in the overgrown backyard of their small, worn-down home. Kevin had his arms stretched out, his face twisted in mock determination. Rasengan! He shouted, slamming his fist lightly into Wayne's stomach. Wayne collapsed onto the grass with an exaggerated groan. You're no match for my Sharingan, Wayne cried dramatically, rolling onto his feet to strike a pose. Their laughter was cut short by a scream from inside the house. Both boys froze, their playful energy draining as dread took its place. Kevin glanced at Wayne, and they cautiously approached the back door, their hearts pounding. Inside, their mother's voice echoed, pleading and desperate. Please, just stop! You're going to scare the boys! They stepped into the kitchen and saw their father, his broad frame looming over their mother as she backed into the wall. His movements were erratic, his speech slurred. The sour stench of alcohol clung to the air. Their mother, strong and graceful even in distress, looked like a queen stripped of her crown. Her vitiligo, which Kevin always admired as a badge of beauty, seemed more fragile in this moment. Kevin clenched his fists as their father roared. "You think you can just talk back to me?" he bellowed, shoving her hard enough to make her stumble. Kevin's blood boiled. He turned to Wayne, his voice a shaky whisper. "Call 911. I'll stop him." Wayne's eyes widened in panic. "What are you going to do?" Kevin took a deep breath, trying to calm the tremble in his hands. "Whatever I can." Before Wayne could stop him, Kevin stepped forward. "Dad!" he shouted, his voice quivering but loud enough to cut through the chaos. Their father turned, his bloodshot eyes narrowing. "Go outside," he growled, his tone heavy with menace. Kevin shook his head, his knees trembling. "No." The room fell eerily silent as their father's attention shifted fully to him. "What did you say?" he asked, his voice low and dangerous. "I said... no," Kevin repeated, barely able to keep his voice steady. Their father's face twisted in rage. In a flash, he grabbed Kevin by the collar, lifting him off the ground. The smell of alcohol was suffocating up close, and Kevin's heart raced as his father's grip tightened. "Kevin!" Wayne cried, but his feet were rooted to the spot. All he could do was clutch the phone with shaking hands. The gunshots in the present brought Kevin and Wayne back to reality. They exchanged a look of shared horror before sprinting out of the store. The scene they arrived at was too familiar, too close to the nightmare they had lived years ago. Outside Aubrey's house, a crowd had gathered, murmuring and pointing toward the bloodied body of a woman sprawled on the pavement. Kevin's stomach dropped as he pushed through the throng, his mind racing with a single desperate hope that it wasn't her. But it was. Aubrey's mother lay lifeless on the ground, her long curly hair matted with blood. A bullet wound marred her temple, and her glassy eyes stared into nothingness. The sight sent a wave of nausea through Kevin. Wayne's voice was tight. This can't be happening again." Before either of them could speak further, a scream pierced the air. "There's a little girl over here." Kevin didn't think. He ran toward the voice. Wayne followed close behind, his breath ragged. They reached the source and saw Aubrey crumpled on the ground, her pink overalls soaked in blood. She clutched her teddy bear, Mr. Tucker, her tiny hands trembling even in death. Her green hairband caught the sunlight, a cruel reminder of the innocence they had failed to protect. Kevin fell to his knees, tears spilling over as he gently touched the bear. "We should have done something," he whispered, his voice breaking. Wayne placed a hand on his shoulder. His voice was low and resolute. "Tonight, I'm going out. You can come with me, or you can keep pretending it's not your problem." Kevin didn't respond at first. He stared at Aubrey's lifeless body, his grief twisting into something darker, something sharper. Finally, he stood, his jaw set. "I'm in." The brothers exchanged a solemn nod, the weight of their shared pain and determination heavy in the air.